Hi there! Are you thinking about possibly moving to Erie, Colorado and just want to learn a little bit more about it? Is it a good place to live? That's what we're here to talk about. Let's get started. All right, my name is Christy Lee and I am a local realtor in the state of Colorado. And if you're new to this channel, all of my videos are going to be catered to my favorite places to live, to move, my favorite places to go out and eat and shop, and then more importantly, where I love to take my little boy. So if that's something that interests you, please click subscribe right there and you'll be notified every time I have a new video. All right, so today is all about Erie, Colorado, and a lot of you already know I actually do live in Erie, Colorado. And my husband actually grew up here. So to be perfectly honest, I am a native of Colorado, but I had never even heard of Erie until I met him about 8 years ago. Erie is just a small town right outside of Denver and outside of Boulder. It's about equally distance, about 25 minutes, 30 minutes between both Denver and Boulder. And it's just gonna be north of Denver, east of Boulder. So there's only about 25,000 people who live here. And it's going to be both in the Weld County and the Boulder County side. So, you know, when you're doing your research and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot more on the Weld County side, which is great because the taxes seem to be a little bit less on Weld County. But if you do live on the Boulder County side, you are going to see a little bit more on taxes. Your water is going to be a little bit more expensive over there as well. But those are just little small things to take into account. So is Erie, a good place to live? Well, I guess that's just going to determine on who you're asking and what you're actually looking for in your house or the place that you're living. So it is, has been named one of the best places to live and the safest places to live year over year, which is really, really great. It's a place that's also been named in a wonderful place to raise a family. So if that's something that's really important to you, then yes, of course, Erie is going to be a great place to move your family. It's very family oriented. Erie loves, to have festivals. There's a balloon festival, there's biscuit day, farmers market, stuff like that. So it's all very geared to families, to small children. There's parks, there's, a lot of recreation to bring your kids to. However, if you are not in that stage of your life, Erie maybe not so much. There's not a whole lot of apartments out in this area. Actually, I don't even think there are any apartments in the Erie area. There are townhomes, there are condos, but when it comes to like nightlife, the single life, if that's the stage of life that you're in, maybe Erie's gonna not be the best fit for you just because it is definitely geared a little bit more towards that family feel. All right, speaking of families, Erie is located in the St. Vrain School District as well as the Boulder Valley School District. So again, depending on which area of Erie you live in is going to determine on what school district your kiddos are going to be going to. Both of them, St. Vrain and Boulder Valley, is going to be very, very high in the rankings. They are very successful with their rankings. So something to consider if you're thinking about moving to any of the areas out here. Erie is great just because of the school systems out here. We have a new high school, the Erie High School. They just recently built it just a few years back because Erie was expanding so rapidly that they needed to make a bigger school. So that is off of Erie Parkway. So it's able to feed in a lot more kids just because the growth of this area is expanding so quickly. So depending on how you feel about this or even where you're moving from, this is something to consider if you're thinking about moving to the Erie area, is Erie as a whole is about 14% higher in cost of living than all of Colorado. It is definitely going to be less than Boulder, but it is something to consider. So when you're shopping around, just note that, looking at home prices, the average home price in Erie now in 2021 is going to be mid 600s. So, I mean, you can find some that are going to be a little bit less, but it is going to be rare to find that. So just kind of note that. Gas is maybe just a little bit higher, but not a whole lot. One other thing I think is a kind of a drawback, at least in my opinion, about Erie is there's not a whole lot of employment or a lot of things to offer within the city. So the way that the city is structured, you're off of I-25 and you still have to come in about 5 miles before you reach anything. And then it's 287 is going to be on the west side. And again, you still have to come in several miles before you reach any sort of businesses, anything like that. So in order to, for the people who work in this area, there's just not a lot of employment within this area. And then in my opinion, not a whole lot of restaurants and shopping and stuff like that. You do have to kind of leave the city in order to find those things. That being said, we do have local restaurants and small little boutiques and things like that. But for your major chains, the Target, the King Supers, Walmart, things like that, you will have to leave the city and just drive a few miles, either down 25 into Thornton or get into Lafayette in order to grab those amenities. So as a whole, I truly believe that Erie is an amazing place to live, especially if you are raising a family. So if you're moving here from a different state or even a different location within Colorado itself, definitely consider Erie as your home. However, just note that it isn't as big as some other cities out there, like, Arvada, Thornton, Parker down south, anything like that. It is still growing, and a lot of the locals here want to keep it small. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you like the small town feel, things like that, Erie is definitely the place you want to be. If you're more of a city type of person, I think you're going to be a little bit bored in Erie. I mean, they do have their, like I said, their small events. We have concerts in the park, balloon festivals, things like that. But it's not going to be your, your nightlife, your, all of that kind of stuff that maybe Denver would offer. Even Old Town Arvada offers. They have a lot more things going than Erie would. So just something to consider when trying to pick a location. In my opinion, I absolutely love Erie. I've been here now for 8 years and I don't plan on actually moving anywhere outside of Erie. If you want to move here, I think that you could find an amazing place. The community is fantastic. Your kids are gonna love it, especially if you have small kids. But again, it's not for everyone. Please reach out to me if you have any questions regarding Erie or any other place that you're interested in. Put a comment right there below, and please remember to click that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I have a new video. Reach out to me. I am the person who answers those emails, those text messages, those phone calls. I would love to help you find your new home in Colorado. I am here to help. Until the next video, take care.